We manufacture products made here in the United States of America in Iowa that are designed to handle sediment control in a better way. My name is Corridon Coppola. I am the owner of Flo-Water. We offer higher flow rates, greater sediment capture, ease of maintenance, reduction in footprint, elimination of downtime, and more. The rain starts somewhere. We know it rains, it hits the ground, and it's going to go somewhere. If that's not controlled, there are problems. The steps that have been happening through erosion control have been phenomenal over the last 15, 20 years. But sediment control must be addressed too. The more dirt there is in the water, the more erosion that can happen, the more erosion control that is needed. Over the last few years have increased guidelines and regulations in the industry where we have to do better, we have to do more. Aside from the crying need for greater and cleaner stormwater control practices. Sediment is the largest single non-point pollutant and the primary factor in the deterioration of surface water quality. It causes clogged stream channels, increased bank erosion, meandering and flooding. Sediment reduces the storage capacity of reservoirs. It destroys wetlands and degrades the quality of water for municipal, industrial, and recreational uses. Clean gravel stream beds become muddy bottoms. Native fish, insects, animals, they disappear. Turbidity and suspended solids are toxic to aquatic organisms. Oxygen-producing plants die off. Water temperatures increase. These are some of the attempts that have been accepted and approved that are in place following larger storms and stuff that they can't handle. So we've done a lot of great things to a point. The cry and call now is we need to go more. This was a concrete washout that was left uncontrolled going into an inlet protection. We put our undergrade inlet easy catch system in there and took care of the turbidity. You'd still have to deal with the pH, but we now have a concrete washout system where you can treat the slurry and release it on site clean. You have to retain your stormwater. You have reservoirs, you have basins, etc. Once you've successfully retained your stormwater on site, you have the high NTU levels, the phosphorus, the nitrates, and other additives that are in that. So we need to clean that before it gets there, or you have to keep dredging it out, creating more and more space and room for your products. That can be done through my products with the sediment control factor. You can combine flocculants and chemicals and other things to make it settle better, but that is something done at the engineer level. Your stormwater is full of suspended clays and particulates. They all take a different amount of time to settle. And then when it rains, et cetera, it's going to resettle and resettle. So if we can keep it out of there, again, it's greater for the impact when it keeps going on to our bodies of water, rivers, lakes, and streams. Municipal operations. I'm going to get into post-construction solutions where you can protect your underground infrastructures that we're all spending millions and more on from having to get cleaned out as much and repaired as much, on top of keeping that out of the bodies of water, et cetera, where it's ultimately going to go when you get larger rain events and they go over those flood protection walls. Below-grade inlet protection. Flo-Water's Easy Catch Inlet Protection is our patented products that adjust. This is our Easy Catch Man. It handles manholes, beehives, et cetera, that are round. Two sizes handle from 15-inch in diameter to 37-inch in diameter. Adjusting, tabs in the corners go between the grate and frame, so you're not rebuilding the grate, you're working with it. Reinforced straps, you lift the bag out with. You don't use the frame even though they're 12 gauge. So you can reuse the frames again because these bags will Velcro off. There are overflows. So when you do get those big rains and you are catching more sediment, because we capture 91.6% of the sediment, you're eliminating that flood issue greatly. This is our Easy Catch 1. Square rectangle grates. They adjust both ways. Again, overflows in the corners. Reinforced straps for lifting. Velcro the bag off, reuse the frames after a 16, 18 cleanouts, once the fabric gets soil laden. This size, our Easy Catch 2, handles the 18-inch by 34-inch up to 32-inch by 48-inch. So you can get your 2x3s, your 18-inch by 36-inch grate. Two sizes are going to handle 90% of your grate sizes. 192 gallons a square foot a minute. 91.6% sediment capture. Pretty impressive. It's completely under the grate. You don't have anything sticking up. Then we go to our Easy Flow and Easy Flow Man on top magnet inlet protection. You don't have to tie it down. You don't have to lift the grate to clean it off or install it. This is a small sample size of our easy flows. You got magnets in the corners. You've got a synthetic material in between that suctions down when it's wet to work with those magnets to seal, so everything has to go over and through. You also see a sample of what our overflow would look like. So you can catch the sediment, but if maintenance isn't done and like it should be, which we all know can happen, it will escape through so you don't have those flooding issues. This is a larger sample. Easy catch with curb, like you're seeing on the screen. So 192 gallons a square foot a minute, 91.6% sediment capture. You can drive over it. Maintenance is very easy. You can backwash it, you can vac it, you can shake it out, just depending on how long you want to keep reusing it. Our easy flows were also rated #1 by Con Ed in New York at keeping the silica out of the inlets when you're cutting concrete, which, as we all know, is a federal regulation. Along with the improved flow rates and sediment capture and the other positives I mentioned, these things are magnets. They're strong. They're not going to go anywhere. As long as you have a grate, it's going to hang. It's going to lay flat and hold in place. Now, performance great, but look at the curb appeal. Much better looking. You don't have sandbags or rock bags or cedar chips, etc., that when they get broken, they're going down your inlet system anyway. You have something that's much better performing, better curb appeal, reusable, and aesthetically friendly. This was in Urbandale, Iowa. This was right after install on the two. This was after the first rain event, which happened that night. Then we had a huge gusher, and you can see how much sediment it kept out and kept building, so you can clean it out instead of it going in your underground infrastructure system. This was an industrial complex. They had 30-some inlets that they had to protect while they were doing work there. And to lay sandbags around it, or sediment logs, or wrap it in a geotextile, etc., would have taken them 3.5, 4 hours. Took them 40 minutes with ours. They just went, set it in place, went to the next one, set it in place, went back and checked it, and we're ready to go. And you're not reducing their footprint because you're leaving space for them to drive over it instead of driving around it. Much easier and better performing. This was at the Muddy Water Blues event down in Mobile, Alabama. It was an event where they had inlet protection in place that had suffered damage. That material is going to come up and out when it rains and it goes over like it does. They've put a concrete block in between the solution and the curb so it wouldn't eel in. And if it rains too much, the steps you do is to go move that so it doesn't flood. On the other side, we put our easy clip guard. They're metal S-clips. They recess in the inlet. You have overflows on the sides. 192 gallons a square foot a minute flow rate. Fills up with sediment, pull it out, backwash it, put it back in. It gets soil laden, you can't use that fabric anymore, then slide the metal S-clips out, replace the fabric and reuse, keeping your costs manageable. Metal S-clips. If you want to bolt it in place, you can, but you don't need to. Reverse clip into place, bend when it hits the street. You have the material in between that suctions down when it gets wet. Solution done. And as you can see, from a performance standpoint, it's nice because you're keeping their footprint manageable. You're not taking up a lot of room out into the street. You're going to perform. You don't have some of the failure issues you can have with current solutions when larger rain events happen. And yeah, they may handle up to a certain 50-year storm, 10-year storm, 15-year storm, 100-year storm, but those are happening every 4 or 5 months, it seems. Very good looking product, reusable, higher flow rates, greater sediment capture. Which would you rather have? Our Hi-Flo Silt Fence and Max-Flow Silt Fence are doing really, really well as far as increasing flow rates when you want to let clean water through, but you don't want that dirt to leave your hillside or your slope or next to a riverbank or a stream bed or where it may be that you're trying to protect that valuable water that we're all worried and concerned about. So our Hi-Flo Silt Fence has 91.6% sediment capture, 192 gallons a square foot a minute flow rates. Because of the built-in polish scrim in our fabric, you get reinforced structural strength, so you can take advantage of those high flows and the high sediment capture without it bursting. The fabric goes between our 2x2 stakes by 48 inch with our 24-inch wood lath, and they're spaced every 6 feet apart. That's advantageous because you give more room for it to filter and flow. You're letting the clean water through, you're stopping the sediment. As you can see here, that dirt and flow got pretty high. It copped the dirt, let the water through. But they had 0 BMPs in place upstream from that. This was at a conference in Florida. Different silt fences lined up in a row with the wind blowing straight at our product. All the others were flapping in the wind. If it's gonna let the air through, it's gonna let water through. And they were pretty impressed when they went from the approved stuff now for certain applications to the one that's gonna do the job regardless of where you are. Dewatering and dewatering bags. That need is great. We have a lot of stuff in our water that when you're moving and transporting water or cleaning water lake lagoons and ponds, you need to capture and keep out of that. This is a flock inducement PVC Y tube done where you can induce chitosan or polyflocs or other chemicals to deal with waters as they're coming through if they exceed the need when our 91.6% fabric is doing its job. This is one of my business associates with his chitosan flocculant inducing it into our PVC Y tube. This was in Bettendorf, Iowa at their public works facility. Dug in a trench, they had over 1,200 NTU water. The higher the NTU, which is nephrolometric turbidity units, the dirtier the water. They want it below 280. That's being argued in the courts as we know, but our fabric will do that on its own. If you have other chemicals in it or clay and you don't want a little bit of an orangish color, then you can add flocculants. But again, we will capture that percentage. That's our 40-inch by 5-foot dewatering bag. Normally on that hose, you'd be 10-foot by 15-foot. Again, our flow rates are 192 gallons a square foot a minute. The standard in the industry to this point on the big black geotextile bags is 80 to 84 gallons a square foot a minute. And they balloon up and seep out while the sediment gets kicked around continuously on the inside. Where our Flo-Water Pump-It tubes are designed like hot dogs or 2-liter bottles so that flow's going through, pushing the sediment to the back while the water is released continuously. And so you're able to handle larger pumps and hoses with smaller size bags. This is the industry to this point, the standard 10-foot by 15-foot bag. It's ballooning up and seeping out. This is our 20-inch by 5-foot bag that will handle a 2-inch and a 3-inch pump instead of 6-foot by 6-foot or 10-foot by 15-foot currently needed. They hook with a D-ring and a strap as opposed to the other adhering mechanisms and ways that have been created throughout the years to be used with the other bags. This is in Stillwater, Minnesota when they were replacing the bridge over the St. Croix River there. Our 40-inch by 20-foot bags on the side of their barges so they could treat the water and have it go straight into that body of water, clean, approved. We have reports from DNR, EPA, DOT, the list goes on. And it's a pretty remarkable solution that brings you a lot of advantages. This was another site on that project. Our smaller bags enabled them to handle that mechanism pump there without having to bring in a whole nother barge to put a whole nother bag on. Saving cost, increasing flow rates, greater sediment capture. Sofa sand cleaning system. They put it on the end just to grab whatever's left in it and to disperse the flows to help eliminate some of the erosion. This is coming off a rock quarry situation where they're pumping water. They put it on the hay bales to elevate it. Again, 192 gallons a square foot a minute. The more fabric you give the flow, the greater the flow volume. Ideal situation where if you need to go faster but you need to keep your bag smaller, put a manifold on your pump and split your hose into 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hoses and have your bags split out. So then you're filling them up 50, 60% because you're giving it more space to work with and your bags are easier to transport. That's a bag running, seeping out all the way around while the sediment's being pushed in. Waterworks facility, draining 3 ponds into a 4th, dredge them, clean them out, get them ready again, and then drain it back, filtering both ways. We do dewatering bags, inlet protection, silt fence, concrete washouts, other things, but my main concentration is the dewatering bags and the inlet protection we'll discuss later this afternoon. Our bags flow 192 gallons a square foot a minute compared to the 80 or 84 of the woven or non-woven from that's been the standard. Ours capture 91.6% of the sediment instead of 80 or 84%, depending. The built-in scrim gives it the structural strength so you get the high flows and the high sediment capture. I'm going to run a 40-inch by 10-foot on a 4-inch pump, and we all know that'd be 10 by 15 normally on the others. And I'm going to switch it and put a 20-inch by 10-foot so you can see how small you can get with these. Reduce your footprint. Another key is in lesser footprint, you can put a manifold and run 3, 4, 5 at the same time. If one fills, turn it off while you rotate it. The others keep running. So you've sped up the jobs and you've just eliminated their downtime while reducing footprint on site. Again, our Easy Flow and Easy Flow Man inlet protection. You see here with curb and overflow, here with curb. This is just with overflow. It's doing its job. If you don't see the dirt at a drain, that means it's in the drain. That means it's on our way to where we either have to pay more to deal with it, we're paying for underground infrastructure, clean outs, repairs, or remedying the water where it's going. You can have better curb appeal, have it work, drive on it, MSD washout pits. Our system's a pallet-sized one now, but you must add chemicals. You have an 8-ounce bottle of chitosan, an 8-ounce bottle of a Bridger flocculant, along with a 5-pound bag of pH stabilizer per pallet size easy slurry. Per concrete washout that you're cleaning out, you add a bottle of each of those liquids, and the pH stabilizer is handling 18 to 20 trucks before you're going to have to take that out and bring a new one in. But then again, your water is treated, released on site, and clean. Ideal for those urban areas where you don't have a lot of footprint. We do custom solutions quite frequently. This is for a pedestal wrap, Velcroed around. This would be for a beehive grate. Looks like a top hat goes on and filters. We have DOT approvals, DNR approvals. These guys just want their water back. Clean water where they can hang out. They're so sick of the man-made structures and our infiltration into their zone, which in effect is affecting our lives with the water and the global warming, etc. So now we are going to look at the Auburn University Easy Catch, Easy Flow dual municipal system for non-construction. As recapped before, you will see the Easy Flow on top, the Easy Catch adjustable frame undergrate beneath. Now this is for non-construction. Mine also works for construction, so you can deal with the construction site sediment as well. Obviously you have to clean it out more when there's more sediment in it. The new regulations, check it every 2 weeks or every big rain event. In non-construction, you would rotate these maybe every 2 months, 2.5 months. So cities are looking at doing it to protect their underground infrastructure where they're pouring millions into again. So you get them to spend that much money, why not protect it? And the whole adage of keep grass clippings out of the inlet, keep trash out, etc. That all works great when it's working. When it doesn't, you can't have a better safety net is the way we look at it. So as you can see there, it handles all the flows you would need and it goes well beyond what their testing was set up to do. The returns on investment for this dual system, municipal Easy Flow, Easy Catch inlet protection system is a lot. But to name a few, I'll go here. You get cleaner stormwater. If you're doing it in all your storm drains everywhere throughout your municipality or your area that you're controlling if you're a municipal, it's a proven system with higher flows, overflows, and greater sediment capture. Facilitate specifications with maintenance schedules. All my specifications, all Flo-Water specifications have maintenance schedules built in on them. You can't ignore maintenance because that's a missing key piece in a lot of the approved systems that are out there now. Financial, reduce maintenance and repairs on underground infrastructure systems. The limbs, the rocks, the sediment, and more trash that are going down there that we're stopping. Drastically reduce the frequency in which underground infrastructure systems are cleaned out. Compliance with new federal regulation. Lower construction costs within the territory. If you already have it in there, the contractor isn't paying for that, which isn't passed to the end user, but it also is being done right with more control and a greater eye on it. This is why we feel the Easy Flow, the Easy Catch, the Easy Clip Guard are ideal inlet protection systems to be used whether it's for construction, post-construction, industrial, manufacturing, or ag industry, dewatering and inlet protection system situations. Our Pump-It Tube Dewatering Bags are proven to be faster, take up less footprint, capture more sediment, and easier to move. And you can again eliminate downtime. Thank you everyone for spending time with us as we try and bring better solutions into play to handle our stormwater so it is cleaner. And remember, Flo-Water, capturing sediment on the go, enabling clean water to flow. How does this help a contractor? Well, from the mindset of a contractor, you're eliminating hours spent on maintenance when it comes to the easy flow and easy catch inlet protection systems in comparison to current systems being used. You're making maintenance an ease or an easier process than current situations aren't designed for, because in a lot of the others, they just have to replace it once it gets to that point, because maintenance on them is pretty difficult. So not only the time spent there, the reusability in the products, the reusability in the frames, and being in compliance is an overall cost benefit to any contractor. So how do our Pump-It Tube bags benefit a dredging project? And you're a dredging contractor? Okay. Well, our bags are being used in replacement of frac tanks, where you have those big storage tanks and they have to pump it in there, treat it, then drain it out and filter it again, or haul it away. There's a couple approaches to this. You can build an extra, if you have another pond you're draining to and then going to drain back after cleaning, you just use our bags and have it flow through, go into the pond, and we're capturing the sediment, making it easier to move. Again, faster flow, you want greater sediment capture, etc. Put a manifold, split it amongst bags, you're going to increase all those factors. Or if you're wanting to clean the water that's in a lake and you have nowhere for that water to go, then go up on the bank or the land next to it, go through our bags, and then have it come back through vegetation or a rock channel that you've set up or some other BMPs in place, and have it come back into the pond, and you can circularly dewater that pond or that body of water or that rock quarry, and have it pump out dirty water, and cleaner water is coming back in, and then pumping out a little less dirty water and cleaner water is coming back in. So again, lesser footprints, eliminate a lot of the equipment being used when you're getting into some of the larger dewatering jobs and dredging jobs are some of the benefits. Using a manifold, you can completely eliminate downtime. One fills up, turn it off while the others keep rowing, and replace those bags. Time is money. And again, footprint. Smaller bags are handling larger flows, so you don't need as big a footprint to run in. Are our products better for construction or post-construction? And my answer is both and more. From our presentation and our time spent together, you see how it can be used in construction and improve your results, be easier to maintain and reuse again. Post-construction or non-construction or municipal, either one by themselves is going to work, but you're going to have to maintain those more. If you do that dual system, you're going to ease the stress on the bottom one, maintaining the top one, which is easier, and once a year doing that job where you remove the grate and replace the bag. Industrial, manufacturing, other applications, this is ideal as well. I've used it in car washes where they're having the water go into the drain and need to catch the stuff in combination with chemicals. So you're moving water, our bags are going to benefit you. Again, in what ways? Faster flow rates, greater sediment capture. They take up less space, they fill more with dirt, and you can eliminate downtime easily. So turbidity curtains, yes, I've had that on some of my slides and on my brochure here. They work wonderfully, same flow rates, etc. We can do them in 3 foot, 6 foot, 9 foot, 12 foot, 15 foot depths. Ideal for shoreline restorations. Ideal when you're putting in bridges, cofferdams, etc. to work and benefit with the other BMPs to keep that water contained on the shore. You combine that on that end and have our Hi-Flo Silt Fence up here, well, that area is protected. What size do our bags come in? Our Pump-It Tube Dewatering Bags, 20 inch by 5 foot for 2 and 3 inch pumps. 20 inch by 10 foot or 20 foot for 2, 3, and 4 inch pumps. 40 inch by 5 foot would handle 2, 3, 4, 5 inch pumps. 40 inch by 10 foot or 20 foot would handle up to 6 inch pumps. And then we have our 80 inch by 10 foot, 20 foot, 30 foot, or 45 foot for larger project jobs. And those will handle up to the 11 inch pumps now, but if you need them for larger pumps and you're going to use with manifolds, we can facilitate. Thank you.